Good morning. How are you all? Hopefully you're doing wonderfully. Today's English lesson has to do with adverbs and adjectives, both of which we've been studying for the last couple of weeks, well before break and now. And today we get to use both of them together because adverbs have some more powers than we thought. So we're going to go through some sentences and talk about them, and then we'll get to today's assignment. We're going to be doing page 237 together, and then 238 will be your practice for today. So let's look at our first sentence. The earthquake developed slowly under the ocean. What is the describing word in this sentence? Which one is describing? Yes, it would be slowly, because we have earthquake as our noun, developed as our verb, under the ocean is our preposition with our OP. So that leaves slowly. Now, is it being an adjective or an adverb today? Yeah, because it's not a slowly earthquake, it's slowly developed. So it is being an adverb today. And we underlined it, and then we're going to draw the arrow to developed, because that is what it is describing today. Okay, so slowly is our describing adverb in our first sentence. Now, let's look at our second sentence. The slow earthquake caused a tsunami. What is our describing word in this sentence? Yes, it is slow. The slow earthquake caused a tsunami. Oops, I don't have a period at the end of the sentence. Let's make sure and add that. Okay, so we're going to underline slow and then point it towards earthquake because it's an adjective describing our noun earthquake. Okay. Our next sentence, the volcano under the ocean erupted very violently. What are the subject and verb in this sentence? Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's get rid of our prepositional phrase and our OP, and now we're looking at the volcano erupted very violently. Volcano is our subject, erupted is our verb. Okay, now, is there any adverb in this, or adverbs? What is going on? Yeah, we have violently because that's describing our verb erupted. So violently is our adverb describing our verb erupted. Super job. Okay. Next sentence. The eruption may not cause a very destructive tsunami. Okay, what do we have for subject and verb? Right, the eruption is our subject. Not is not part of the verb, right? But may is our helping verb. Cause is our main verb. Do you know what not is? Yeah, it's an adverb, isn't it? Do you remember reading about that, not in yesterday's assignment, but 2 days ago? And that's why we've always blocked it off up to this point, is because it's not part of a verb. It's the adverb helping describe the verb, and it's the negative one. And then we have destructive. What is destructive? Right, it's the adjective describing tsunami, our noun. Excellent. There's also another adverb that we could have talked about here, but we didn't, and that's the adverb very. It helps you picture very, that is very destructive. Means more, it was destructive, but it's very destructive. So that helps us learn that that's pretty serious then, huh? So we have an adverb here and an adverb here. Okay, so, and this is our adjective we talked about, so it's describing that. Pretty crazy, huh? What adverbs can do. Okay, one more sentence, and then we'll go to our assignment. Okay, so we're going to show our diagramming today with this sentence. A tsunami is extremely dangerous. So let's label our parts of speech here. What is our subject? Goodness gracious, you're right. And what is our verb? Yeah, it's just our linking verb. So if we have a linking verb, that means we're going to have what? Yeah, the predicate adjective. Predicate adjective right here. So extremely is describing dangerous, which is our adjective. So extremely is our adverb. And it's telling us how dangerous it is. So let me show you how we're going to diagram that. We have our regular line, our subject and our verb, and we have a PA, so our line is going to go like that because it's shooting back at our subject. So we have tsunami, we have is, then we have our PA, dangerous, woohoo, it fit, and then our adverb just comes right off here, and we'll put extremely. And that's how we have our adverbs, adjectives, added on to just our usual subject and predicate, well, verb. Okay, now go ahead, and if you don't have page 237 in front of you, pause it, go get it, and we'll come back together to begin our guided practice together. Okay, so I took some notes from our page that we're looking at now, page 237. Adverbs, they can describe verbs and answer the questions how, when, and where. That's what we've been studying for the last 2 days. But now we have it also. Adverbs also describe adjectives and other adverbs. So they are very, got a lot of jobs. They have a very lot to do. So, looking at the page, we see that the sentence on top that says tsunamis are usually caused by volcanoes, earthquakes, and landslides. And we see that tsunamis are the subject, and then are caused is the verb, and usually is describing are caused. So that is what our adverbs usually do. But the next part, it says adverbs can also describe adjectives. And we see that in our first sentence in that block. A tsunami is a very high wave. Is our linking verb. And then we have the predicate noun of wave and a very high. The high is our adjective, and what is it? It's very. So very is our adverb describing our adjective high. Okay, let's look at our next, our last instructional box. It has the sentence, tsunamis happen most often in the Pacific Ocean. So let's go ahead and pick this apart a little bit. We know that in the Pacific Ocean is our prepositional phrase, and Pacific Ocean, there's our OP. So that's left with tsunamis happen most often. Well, you know that the subject is tsunamis. Very good. And what else do you know? The verb? Yeah, the verb is happen. And then we have most and often. Happen is our verb, so most is describing and often is describing our verb. And this is what it looks like to diagram it. So we have capital T for tsunamis because it is the beginning of our sentence. Happen is our verb. Yeah. And then we have one line for our adverb, and then we have this other line looks like this because this one's describing this, which is describing that. So did you get all that? So we have often being our adverb, and then most. So most often. So most is describing how often it happens, and often is also describing when it happens. So that is how So we don't put them both going here. We have this one coming off because it's describing often. Okay, so let's look at number 1. Tsunamis mainly hit islands. What we're doing here in our directions. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped another one. Can you read that okay, I hope? Extremely active earthquakes encircle the Pacific Ocean. That's our other one up here. Okay, so what is our subject? Yes, our earthquakes. And then what are they doing? They're encircling it. And then we have a direct object because it's a verb, an action verb. And our direct object is Pacific Ocean. And then what are we going to do with extremely active? Yeah. We're going to include those because they're both working on earthquake, right? Extremely is saying how active they are, and active is saying it's answering the question and describing our earthquake. So let's go ahead and diagram this one. So we have our earthquakes here. And they're active, which is describing it as an adjective. But then extremely, which we're going to capitalize because it's the beginning of our sentence, is the adverb describing how active it is. Okay, then we have our verb, which is encircle. So far so good? Okay, and then we had our direct object of Pacific Ocean. So make sure that's uppy downy. I'm so sorry, I'm running out of room, guys. Okay, and then we have our simple article of the, which is going to be the Pacific Ocean. So that's how we are going to diagram all that information. Can you believe how many? We used to just do subjects and verbs, and look at how much we're able to diagram now. Okay, so let's look at number 1. The directions say write ADJ for adjective or ADV for adverb above each underlined word. Draw an arrow to the word it describes. So our first one, here's our underlined word mainly. Tsunamis mainly hit islands. Okay, so here's our subject, tsunamis. We don't have to do this, but it kind of makes it easier, huh? And they hit the islands. So mainly would be describing how often it hits. So we're going to draw that arrow to hit. Did you get that? I hope so. Our next sentence, these destructive waves usually happen along the shore. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Destructive. What's it describing? Our waves. Very good. And that would be an adjective because waves is our noun. And they usually happen. Oops, that didn't get underlined. It is now. Okay, usually is describing how often they happen. So that's an adverb that's describing our verb. Okay, so we have one last thing to do, and that's diagram number 3. Forecasters quickly warned the coastal people. Okay, so let's label it first. What's our subject? Yeah, it's forecasters. And what is our verb? They warned them. Very good. And then since it's a verb, the coastal people is going to be our direct object or our DO. And we didn't have any prepositional phrases to deal with, so we're ready to go. So let's get our main stuff in our diagram. We have forecasters as our subject. We have warned as our verb. And then we have our DO of people. Now the question is, we have some words left. Where do they need to go? Well, what's their job? Quickly, we have the word quickly left. Yeah, it's an adverb. It's describing how they were warned. They were quickly warned. So we're going to put our adverb coming off our verb warned. Now we have the and coastal people. Okay, so you know how we had the lines touching last time? These don't, because article is helping us show the people and coastal is also showing the people. So we have two adjectives there, so they don't touch. They come off of people both separately. Okay, that's our lesson today. During live today, we can answer any questions on the test that you might have. That would be great to go over those, the ones that you missed or that you just were questioning. And then we'll go ahead and we can look at our assignment on page 238 and answer any questions of those. And I'd love to hear if you've done your research for your recipe of food for your state fair. So I'll see you at 1:30 and we'll talk about all that and probably some more too. See you soon. Bye-bye.